Hello, dear friends, and today's episode will be talking about sixth major tarot arcana and archetype lovers. Unlike the previous archetype, which was number 7, it was called Chariot and it was ruled by the planet Mars, masculine principle. This archetype, as you can guess, will be ruled by Venus and feminine principle. However, archetype lovers is not as much about the romantic idea that you might be thinking will be the first that will come to your mind, judging by the picture, judging by seeing these two people representing the masculine feminine polarity, and looks like there's an angel above them, try to unite the love hearts. Archetype lovers, it's not really that much about love, but more about choice. Even in the matters of the heart, first thing comes first. You have to make a choice first. And let's dive deep into discussion. Archetype lovers, people who channel this energy very well, they're very, very attractive. And in our journey of the Fool that we started from the 22nd archetype, Fool's journey, right? We're moving towards the end. We're already at the level of the heart chakra. It's very, very important. Nobody can channel lover's archetype. Nobody can measure this type of energy onto them unless their heart is truly open. This is one of the most fundamental features. These people extremely, extremely attractive. They're very lovable and likable just because their heart center is open, and it's not about how they look, it's not about what style they wear, it's not about what eye color, hair color, skin color they got. They have something about them, something in their aura is very comforting, it's very welcoming, it's very relaxing, that other people automatically pick up on that energy and they automatically like them. Lovers archetype people, not only the ones who are born on the 6th of the month, the other ones who know how to channel this energy, they are particularly sweet, they're particularly nice to deal with. They are operating on more of a Libra type of mindset, right? Libra is one of those zodiac signs that rule by planet Venus, just as Taurus. So those people are rather, instead of making a conflict and confronting somebody openly, they would rather try to diplomatically resolve the issue. And that fact alone makes people very nice to deal with. And archetype lovers, it's more about connecting the two hemispheres of the brain, just like we use that reference in a lot of other archetypes as well. So you know it by now. When we have the polarities of opposite, it creates that synergy, that completeness. The masculine principle and feminine principle together, they in combination create that metamorphosis of the mind and ideas that inevitably attract a lot of unusual ingenious kind of thoughts that can manifest into something truly, truly beautiful, like pieces of art. Not only analytical, logical, and left hemisphere of the brain sight onto the world, in combination with the right hemisphere of the brain, which is creative, the intuitive, which is not a straight line but some kind of serpentine. Together it does create a very, very powerful force that is an author of a lot of world beautiful masterpieces, both in literature, in music, in visual arts. This arcana and archetype is very much about the Kundalini energy. If you can see the snake on one of the sides right here, there is a snake, there is a tree, there is an apple tree, there is a reference to original scene, to Adam and Eve, the story from holy scriptures and the Bible in particular. There is a reference to it, but the snake represents the Kundalini energy, which resides in the it's like a red root chakra, the basic chakra. That's the location where it's supposed to reside. That's where the animal instincts kick in, and that's what make people want to be physical with each other. That instinct, that original animalistic instinct that it's in all of us. But the key thing about the archetype lovers is to be able to transfer that energy and make it go all the way up and reach its peak, basically travel throughout all the chakras. Archetype lovers, it's mostly about the choice, it's mostly about mastering the sexual energy. There are several archetypes throughout the whole Fool's journey that have a lot to do with sexuality. The 15 major arcana devil, it has to do with a lot of sexual impulses. We discussed it on the lesson 15. Those who watched it remember the quality of that sexual energy. That's more about the addiction between two people when they can't let go of each other, when all they can think about is each other. It's a different quality of sexual energy. It's heavy. It's very much Hollywood, you know what I mean? Then there is another archetype that's connected with sexual energy, and it's archetype strength. Strength is where the lady, she tames the lion. That's a different force that's like more about your charisma, your inner sexuality, not the outer, like in the 15 arcana, but the inner one where you don't have to show it. You do not have to dress revealingly, but you will still be very, very sexy as how you will be perceived by others, no matter where you go. That's what's called charisma and energy. And the third archetype that does have a lot to do with the sexual energy will be the lovers, of course. Lovers, it's more about knowing how to transfer the animalistic instinct that we started with from the root chakra and how to transfer that energy and go up, make it stronger, make it a different quality, make the metamorphosis of it. I'll give you the example on the chakra levels. When it's in the red root chakra, the beginning, it's an animal instinct that makes people and animals want to continue their generation and reproduce without understanding if that species is good for me or not. Whatever, people don't even think about it. All they want is that one thing, right? But when the energy flows to orange chakra, that's the next level of perception. There sexual energy becomes of a different quality. It has more of a romance colors to it. It has more of a Venetian energies, feminine energies to it, right? First will be the masculine energies of Mars, predominantly in that basic instinct. The second level will be more about the pleasure and enjoyment. It would be a love-making process, if you will. Well, let's put it that way. Then the energy transfer to the yellow chakra, and that's when sexual energy transforms into some kind of honor that it comes with it. It's when back in the days people were um, they were marrying each other first before they would commit the physicality to each other, right? So they had that sense of obligation, commitment, right? That's the yellow chakra. Then when energy flows to the heart center, that's where love happens. That's where people can truly understand the oneness, the feeling of each other by unconditionally opening to each other in a way that you do not expect anything in return, because you just love that person for the fact of his or her existence. You're just happy that they exist, that they are. And that's a different angle of heart opening. Then the Kundalini energy travels all the way up. We have another remaining chakras. We're not going to get into detail here. We'll save those higher centers for our last archetypes on the way of the Fool's journey, because there's going to be more. It's going to be more important to emphasize how the Kundalini energy opens up in the higher centers for those who want to channel different kind of force. And there was a reason why austerity, such as depriving yourself of intimacy for extended amount of times, was very, very common practice, was very powerful practice that activated a lot of magical abilities in people who decided to maybe tie their life with with a church or any other institutions that had something to do with the theology, had something to do with the studying of the divine and the cosmic laws, or the God's word, or the holy scriptures and stuff. Again, will remain. We'll leave those things for the further archetypes. It will be more appropriate there. Anyways, back to lovers, arcana, and archetype. Once that sexual impulse is mastered, the person can still be extremely seductive and extremely attractive, but not in a promiscuous way, in a way that a lot of people will sense some kind of harmony in them, right? Some kind of likeness. And there is one very, very simple test that you can perform, one exercise. When you go to the very unpleasing places like DMV or courts or somewhere with the heavy energies where you have to deal with resolving your issues, and you want your stuff to be done in your favor, you have to learn how to open your heart center, and you're going to be looking at that judge or lawyer or I don't know, clerk in the DMV with an open heart, understanding that he or she is also tired, maybe their mothers or fathers, parents who have millions of problems, 99 problems, but here they are at work performing their duties. And once you give a little bit of a thought of compassion towards them, you will watch a very big significant difference in their behavior towards you. They will pick up on that loving impulse of unconditional love that you send towards their way, and it might help your issue to be resolved in your favor faster, more efficient. Just try and let me know in the comments if you ever tried it and if it ever worked in your favor. You're going to apply the archetype lovers or principle of the heart chakra. When it comes in the spreads, of course, when we talk about romantic questions in relation to personal life, we go out from the question. Archetype lovers, it's a major arcana, right? We have major arcanas and we have minor arcana. We're studying here on this series of videos only major arcanas, because every major arcana in archetype, it's a whole story of their own. It's a whole universe. There's so much that the card can tell, but when it comes in the spread, it definitely signifies something very important loving connection, where most signature thing is about making a choice. Archetypes are not about only knowing your archetype and kind of like, it's like, oh, I know my zodiac sign and that's it. It's very shallow. The real flex is that, can you actually use every single zodiac sign's pluses, features, talents they got in any given moment? That's the Astro-magic right there. That's the real flex, when you can accordingly use universal secrets and knowledges to your benefit. Even if you are in Aries and you like to do things your way, you like to be first and loud and very crazy, but for one time, try to take another perspective of Libra, for example, and resolve the conflict without fight, diplomatically. Or if you need to apply more skills of management in your career, maybe you have a lot of people who work in your office and you want to be a really good manager, learn it from Capricorn, and so on and so forth. There's so many things we can learn from each other. And it's not about labeling each and one of us to certain zodiac sign or to certain archetype based on our date of birth. It's about knowing how to apply that in any given moment to your maximum benefit. Arcana lovers, I want to show you before we wrap up the designer deck. This is classic one, of course, that we're using for every tarot student, is a must-have. It's a Rider-Waite deck that is absolutely important to start with. It's like your ABC. Do not make my mistake. When I was learning tarot, my first deck that I ever bought was this one. It's called Tarot of the Night, because I was really drawn to the beauty of the the design of it. But it's it doesn't show the real things, how tarot was built as far as the classic structure to it. That's why it's really hard to learn on the designer decks, because they have the twist of their own. You have to always start from the classic. When you learn the classic, you will be able to read absolutely any designer deck that has its own things and twists. And this one, to me, it looks really beautiful. It also looks like the polarity, the couple, masculine, feminine, and in its own nice sublime manifestation, where the colors are very beautiful. And the vibe of the card, it's all also giving kind of that warmth feeling of likeness between the two. So I hope this was useful for those who are very passionate about studying tarot. I invite you guys to embark on the journey, and the journey is going to be a one-way journey of no return. You will not only obtain amazing sacred knowledge that to this day aids thousands, if not millions of people worldwide, and the demand to tarot is only growing. You also will obtain a really cool source of income that will be always at your disposition. You can work remotely from any part of the world if you want. If you will manage, and you will be very skillful at what you're doing, you will have a lot of people who will come to consult with you and make important life decisions with asking you to help them, to navigate them. Because reading Akashic records, not everybody can do this. This is a gift. This is a gift that you acquire. This is a channel that you acquire. A lot of people, they pretend that they are reading it, but they are not really, because they do not correspond to the requirements. And there are certain requirements which I teach on the course that everybody must obey in order to be able to channel the pure information and read the informational field correctly. That's why it's not for everybody. It's for strong people who are powerful enough to perform austerities in form of getting rid of bad habits, not consuming the substances that cloud your vision, and a lot more we discuss on the course. So if you're interested in adding up amazing instrument to, maybe you already have different instruments that you know, maybe you're a psychologist, or you're a hypnotherapist, or numerologist, or astrologer, why not add another amazing instrument to the box of your knowledge? Or if your job has absolutely nothing to do with the fields that I mentioned above, and maybe you're doing completely different thing, it will only benefit you if you add such amazing instrument as Archetypal Psychology course, or having the ability to read informational field, the Akashic records. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please send the video to your like-minded friends who are into tarot, who are into esoterics, who are into the knowledge of the new time. I'll see you on another episode very soon.